A sheep belongs with its flock. Sheep are not solitary creatures. They travel together, eat and drink together, lie down and rest together, live life together. Except when one is separated. It did not decide to become lost. We don't either. Perhaps we were not paying attention, absent-mindedly going one way while the shepherd was leading another. A delicious tuft of grass kept us busily munching. Our curiosity drifted our focus. We took a few steps, then a few more, for a bit of unwise exploring. Maybe we streaked off in a fit of rebellion. Still, we did not choose to be lost. But a painful realization came to us. We were. Apparently, when a sheep realizes it's lost, it shelters in place. It looks for a bush or rock to hide under. Then it bleats. It doesn't find its own way back, but waits to be found. Hopefully the shepherd does, and quickly, before a predator arrives. This ordeal is terrifying for the sheep, paralyzing. The shepherd might need to carry it back to the flock. So undone is the sheep, unable to bear itself. Our shepherd brings back the lost. That's what's going on in the 23rd Psalm. We have left the green pastures and still waters where sheep want to be, and gone to where this sheep, this disciple, this person of God actually is. Lost. Lost from her flock. Lost from his shepherd. And so in desperate danger. That's when my good shepherd, he restoreth my soul. I love this phrase, but it might mislead us. It might sound like God's giving us a spiritual pick-me-up, a recharge when my batteries run low. I need my shepherd to do that. But in the psalm, much more is at stake than a mere spiritual lift. Survival. The Hebrew word is nephesh. It means more than what we usually think of as our soul. Nephesh is life, yourself, you as a person. What are you without nephesh? Dead. Someone has stopped breathing. A rescuer crouches beside him, joins their mouths, and breathes for him. Seconds stretch like hours. Then the victim sputters and gasps and begins breathing again on his own. His nephesh is back. The rescuer restored him. Now back to sheep. Lost, cut off, alone, terrified, in extreme danger. Then her shepherd finds her and restores her. The Hebrew word here is shuv. It's about returning. The shepherd returns the sheep, not only to her flock, but to life. Because without such rescuing and returning, she is as good as dead. Shuv can also mean repent. You're living the wrong way in how you are with God and with others. It's the lost way, the going nowhere fast way. Then you turn back to the right way. You repent. Shuv. Except in the psalm, it's not you who does it. The lost sheep can't get itself back. She needs to be restored. God, your shepherd, repents you, revives your life, brings you back. Now the psalm story can continue. Having repented the sheep back, the shepherd now leads the sheep along right paths. In biblical Israel, sheep were not pastured in well-fenced fields. Their shepherd led them through the wild. And over millennia of grazing, a maze of trails had been worn into the ground. So easily, then, could you follow the wrong one, and again get lost on a trail that leads nowhere or ends at a cliff, literally a dead end. So a good shepherd guides the sheep in proper paths. Paths of righteousness. Because the psalm isn't really about sheep, it's about us. Righteousness works here. It's goodness, faithfulness to God and God's ways. For Israel, that's Torah, the covenant between God and God's people. What's the heart of Torah? Jesus said it. Acting with love for God and acting with love for neighbor. He then made that sharper. Your neighbor is anyone in need, even your enemy. The word behind righteous, tzedek, can just as well be translated as justice. Justice is also love. Justice work is taking apart barriers that keep everyone from flourishing. The paths of righteousness, self-giving love, seeking justice, following Jesus. Our shepherd leads us because he is righteous. He is justice in action. He is faithful. He is good. All the time. Even this time. Bible scholar Walter Brueggemann helpfully sorts all the Psalms into three types. First, there are Psalms of orientation. These are for when things are good. There is wellness in the land, justice and peace. Our relationship with God is secure and uncomplicated. Our compass is steady, pointing north. We know where we are and where we're going. We are oriented. And some of the Psalms are for such times. But then there are, you might guess, Psalms of disorientation. The compass is spinning, the map is wrong, and we are lost. Things are broken in the world and in us. We need to lament, crying out even against God, and yet still for God, hoping someone is paying attention. The Bible is thick with these psalms of disorientation. We do well to use them, because in times like these, our normal words often fail us. But then there are, thankfully, Psalms of new orientation. The compass is pointing us again, but in an unexpected direction. We haven't found the old map. There's no going back to things as they were. But a new map is being sketched out before us. We can't explain how this has happened. It's surely unexpected. It's a surprising gift. Grace. This new orientation, new way of going, new way of seeing. Walter Brueggemann says it's been wrought by the inscrutable power and goodness of God. These psalms celebrate the intervening action of God to give life in a world where death seems to have the best and strongest way. Friends, Psalm 23 is a psalm of new orientation. It's for us sheep who were oriented, green pastures and still waters, then disoriented, lost and hopeless, and now we are being led in new right paths of righteousness and justice. Now, these days, we are not oriented not very well. Can we agree on that? Disoriented, sure. And psalms of lament can serve us well these days. Maybe, though, we are also being newly oriented. I think someday we'll see that. We'll look back and trace how the shepherd has sought us. He never really lost us, actually. And then brought us back and set us on right paths. I want to be bold and suggest our good shepherd is doing new orientation work in us now, even now. Jesus is doing new orientation work in each of us, personally, because the Lord is my shepherd and yours. He's also our shepherd together, because sheep belong to their flock. In other words, I think Jesus is doing new orientation work with his church and our congregations that are part of it. He's doing this in this time when we are still disoriented. I'm confident of it, because that's the way he is. Always working slowly and carefully, delightfully and expectantly, when his people don't even have a clue what he's up to. I don't really know what he's doing. Not certainly. I can see no further than you can, sometimes less. These are only hunches. I do think Jesus is newly orienting us about what is vital and what is less important than we thought before. For instance, I'm convinced more than ever that we do need to be together. What we're doing online, it's okay for now, while it's necessary. But really, it's not good enough. We need to be together. And I can't wait till we are. On the other hand, though, maybe there are ways we used to be together and worship together and serve together and cared together that we're now seeing can be different. They were not the only ways. Even not the best ways. Not anymore. I think Jesus is working. He's changing our priorities. He's giving us a new focus. I don't know what that is. We'll need to find out together. I don't think we'll be going back to normal, to the way things were. I'm sure Jesus is making for us something new. Honestly, that worries me. I like normal. It also excites me. I trust our shepherd.